The tactical turn-based RPG series, Fire Emblem, is one I've been meaning to get into for years. On paper, it's got just about everything I love. Compelling narratives full of social intrigue, methodical, strategic gameplay, and the possibility to awkwardly flirt with fictional characters. So, with the release of Fire Emblem Engage, I thought it was about time to experience this world of dragons and deities for myself.
The time has come!
Now, as one! Emblem Engage!
Visiting!
Time to finish the job.
Right off the bat, we're introduced to our new hero, the divine dragon Aaliyah, in the midst of an epic battle. Behold, a cosplayer's worst nightmare of gravity-defying clothing and a hairstyle so easy to pick on, I won't even bother, because the other characters do it for you.
That hair.
After being badly wounded, our licorice Twizzler of a protagonist wakes up post-thousand-year nap, only to discover they've been afflicted with the dreaded plot-sensitive amnesia.
Hello there. And you are?
Not only that, but the continent of Elias is under siege at the hands of the fell dragon Sombron and his forces, as they search for the 12 emblem rings.
And yet, I still hunger for more.
So, naturally, it's up to a still groggy Aaliyah to assemble their own army, reclaim the rings, and defeat this great evil, all the while making time to go fishing, bulk up,
Nice!
run a petting zoo, and presumably file some restraining orders against their more invasive team members.
Divine One! You look so shiny when you sweat!
Unlike Three Houses, Engage has moved away from the branching story paths and instead focuses on a more linear narrative. You can still talk to your companions and build up their bonds with you and each other, but aside from maybe a handful of exceptions, the characters all feel empty.
Who even cares about the Divine One's shoe size?
We do!
They have quirks where a personality should be. And I get it, with more than 30 potential playable characters under the belt, not all are gonna be winners. But it's hard to care about any of them or invest time in their stories, even as other characters hammer home just how much you should be caring.
Swear to me that you will come back alive.
I swear it.
Whatever gripes I may have had with the social elements of Engage, the depth of its turn-based combat more than makes up for it. The return of the triangle rock-paper-scissors model makes keeping track of which weapons work best against others so much easier, freeing up valuable brain space to agonize over the placement of your squad. It's common for battles to go for 30 minutes to an hour, and I was always thinking about who needs support,
Lend me your strength.
who needs backup, and who works well together.
I've got you!
Now, if you're wondering where the Engage portion of Fire Emblem Engage comes into play, sadly, no, it's not a Pokemon-style data mall situation, much to my heartbreak.
You're wasting time.
No, Engage refers to the invocation of the new emblem rings. Each ring has its own set of passive bonuses, special skills, and a unique weapon you gain access to for a brief period before you need to recharge. But the biggest advantage is revealed when you guessed it, engage with the ring in combat, allowing you and your chosen emblem to temporarily fuse into this glowing deity. Depending on who you go with, this grants you access to some super powerful attacks. For instance, Emblem Celica can use Warp Ragnarok, teleporting your ally across the map and unleashing hell onto an unsuspecting enemy upon landing. They're a thrill to use, in big part due to the seriously cool animations that play out. I could watch Aaliyah and Marth throw down on a loop for the rest of my life and die happy.
This is it!
Now I've done it.
Picking and choosing your moment to break out the big guns is crucial to success. Go too early and you might be leaving yourself vulnerable to tougher enemies later on. Go too late and you could be risking team members you otherwise would have been able to protect. Looking at it all laid bare, weapon stats and attack bonuses, special skills and team coordination, it can be overwhelming, especially if you're a new player. But Engage does a brilliant job of giving you both the freedom to make mistakes with the almost ever-present rewind ability and the tools you need to customize your team and their dynamic. Are you brash and aggressive? Cautious and defensive? A chaos goblin who runs in and hopes for the best? There are no wrong answers.
All been lost?
Okay, maybe there are some wrong answers. Of course, as is the way in the realm of turn-based tactical strategy, balancing the cool with the mundane is par for the course. Some encounters feel unnecessarily dragged out, as more enemies are drip-fed onto the field. While I did appreciate the mental gymnastics some maps had me doing, the sheer size and scale did leave me feeling a bit burned out, passing rounds just shuffling people from one end of a room to the other. I'd also love to talk to whoever designed the enemy AI to go out of their way to gang up on the same character again and again. My gosh, guys, she's like 13, leave her alone.
Looks like I'm in the red.
Outside of combat, you can retreat to the floating island of Somniel, which acts as your central hub. Here you can interact with your squad, upgrade your weapons, restock crucial supplies, and create bond rings for those of your team who don't possess emblems. These don't give you engage attacks, but do house the power of previous emblem characters, providing the wearer with stat boosts. It's not a major inclusion, but it's a nice nod to the series' history. In a way though, I do feel like it highlights one of my biggest issues with Engage, and it harkens back to my earlier comments on the depth, or lack thereof, of our companions. Where there's lots of reverence placed on the return of previous heroes, the crew we're supposed to bond with, and Aaliyah for that matter, feel neglected both in their writing and in how we connect with them.
I don't think anyone needs special training to see through an act like that.
Hey,
I would have loved to see some options to bond on Somniel in a more meaningful way, rather than just cooking them food or throwing gifts at them.
Are you trying to poison me?
And before you ask, no, I didn't give anyone the frankly stupid amount of horse manure I'd acquired. Yeah, be proud of me. I'm sure there are a lot of fans that prefer this return to a more combat-focused experience, but for me, I feel like it was at the cost of some vital world and character building. It was like I was playing two very different games, where there's so much attention to detail placed in the thoroughly compelling combat system. The social aspects, the very foundations for these characters we're supposed to root for, didn't feel nearly as fleshed out. At the end of the day though, I'd be lying if I said I didn't enjoy my time despite these issues. Curse you, Fire Emblem Engage, you made me disregard my long-held title as the character first girl with your dragons and your weapon triangle and the satisfying clash of sword on steel. If you're a strategy fan and can look past some of the more cliche plot points and slightly kitschy dialogue, Fire Emblem Engage is well worth a play for new and old fans alike. And hey, maybe this will make room for a dedicated Fire Emblem dating sim. We can dream.
If I'm always there when you wake up, maybe you'll get used to it and it won't be so startling. All we'd have to do is set up an extra bed for me in your chamber.
Nope, not doing that.
Play.
Now I've done it.